So, how many call centers EDM network is working worldwide?
Worldwide, as of today, we have over 950 call centers worldwide.
Okay, in Pakistan, if we speak about Pakistan, how many call centers in Pakistan you're working with?
I believe it's closer to about 400.
400, yeah, I was going to say close to 400. We have large call centers. The call center structure is different right now for us. I mean, we've been blessed by working with our brothers and sisters in Pakistan. We have partners call centers, we have strategic partners call centers, and then we have vendors call centers. So I would say overall, with all of them, at least 4,000 seats plus. I would say like 400, from the super large to the medium, and we work with them, inshallah.
Okay, how do you connect with these Pakistani call centers?
They connect with us.
Wallahi, they connect. Wallahi, most of the time, and I'm sure that they'll be watching this great show. They reach out to us, because we have shown that we are good people. We know what to do. We have their best interest in mind. We always want to work with them as partners. We respect them. We respect their hard work. And when people talk, they always say, Rida and Jamal, Rida and Jamal, Rida and Jamal. And people reach out to me on Facebook and then LinkedIn and, Brother Rida, I want to work with you guys. I heard about you and Brother Jamal. And we'll reach back and we talk and open a Skype chat. And, this is a while back, because right now I don't think there is any call center that we haven't spoken to, alhamdulillah bil alameen. But that's how it started. Like we weren't reaching out, or they just reach out to us and we open our doors, and alhamdulillah bil alameen, today we are where we are.
But what's your experience with the Pakistani call centers?
Right now, I mean, it's been great.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, or just when you want to know?
Like everything. Seriously, you can share everything.
Overall, it's been fantastic. When you think about the telemarketing industry, all over the world, this is kind of where we got to start looking at it from a macro perspective. So Pakistan for us has just been a market that has been very receptive to what we have been willing to teach, and what they've been able to execute and implement. So, I can teach people all day, but it's on the people to actually be able to implement and execute. And that's one thing I can say about Pakistan is they're very, very, very hardworking people, first and foremost. But when we look at this from a worldwide perspective, the telemarketing industry as a whole, Pakistan is doing about 1.5 billion. Honestly, they're doing about 1.5 billion. India is doing about 150 billion. And then you have the Philippines doing around 45 billion, and then a couple countries in North Africa collectively doing about 5 billion. So when you look at the numbers as a whole, Pakistan is very small in terms of the actual amount of production that's coming out of here, but the potential is there. Like when we drive around the city, when we see what this great nation is doing, there's so much development here. And, really, that's very exciting for me to actually see, because, very rarely in life do you able to get a part of a massive change of development in its infant stages. Most of the time, by the time us Americans get to participate, it's at its maturity. And, that's where the barriers for entry are substantially higher. The amount of investment that it takes to be able to participate is substantially higher. So, all these factors play a role into kind of what allows this to be able to be sustainable, but also have the most growth potential as well. So, all in all, I think Pakistan is a great country to do business in.
Yeah, if I add, my experience, of course, I would say I look at it like in two ways, and I'm sure that on one way I'm with Jamal. When it comes on a personal relationship, great people, honorable people, hardworking people, humble people, for sure. Great people, for sure. But when I talk about the business side, it's a little bit tricky because sometimes you can be the nicest person, but if you don't have the knowledge to be a manager, you will still be a nice person, but maybe a bad manager, right? It doesn't mean that they are bad people, but the management is bad. So we see that the experience that they lack on managing a call center. They are hardworking. They are the best people in the world that we deal with. When we say we are brothers, we are brothers. But I have to tell my brothers the truth. Yeah. Because the one thing you cannot do is to lie to yourself. The call center industry in Pakistan, on the lead gen, specifically on the lead gen, because if you look at the journey of the lead gen micro centers, is that they all worked as a fronter or a verifier or a manager somewhere, and then they dreamed big and they said, I can have my own call center. If my boss has a call center, I can have mine. And then they connect with like 10 or 15 people that they work with or some other people outside. They put the money together, they get the dialer, data, VoIP, chairs, laptop, and boom, now we have a call center. And then they're like so much experience that they start working with some companies overseas, for example, the United States. They borrow money, they buy data, they send the calls, and then the guy said, I'm not gonna pay you. You send me DNC. Now what are they gonna do? Set the laptops, close shop? They don't have experience. And then the other issue that they have is that they are still maybe 10, 15, or 20 agents working together. They send calls to the United States. They are good calls, for example, right? And then they get paid. So he gets the money, and then he goes buy an iPhone 16. He's gonna buy a watch of like $300. He's gonna buy a car, and then next month he doesn't have money to buy data or pay for VoIP. So that's why at our first and only telemarketing summit that we'll be hosting on the 11th of June, Jamal will be talking about that. How do you manage a call center? How can you grow a call center? How do you run numbers at the call center? How can you identify yourself as an industry? Not just like micro centers left and right, and this guy is working with that guy, and so on one side, best people to work with. On the other side, if they can learn a little bit the ins and outs of management, no one can stop Pakistan. I mean, no one. Period.
But to add to that real quick, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
You don't know what you don't know. So most of the time, the greatest way to learn is from failure. Mm-hmm. But failure comes at a cost. Boy, oh boy, does failure come at a cost. And, I believe in people bumping their heads. To be honest with you, I do. Like you bump your head. Like one time, in my garage, the ceiling's not too high, and I open my trunk, right? And I can't open it all the way because if I open it all the way, it hits the roof of the garage door. Yeah. Okay. So I have to open it a little lower. So I have to stop it a little lower. And I remember one time I grabbed something, I bumped my head. And I was like, oh. And I was like, I'm not going to do that again. So I grabbed something up the trunk again.
Boom, and do it.
Oh, I bumped my head. And then I had to go back in. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to do that again. So I ducked down and I went back. And sometimes that's what it takes. Yeah. Wallahi, that's what it takes sometimes. But this journey doesn't have to be that hard. Yeah. And this is kind of where, if we have to address an issue in the industry, the issue I want to address is, everybody feeling like in order to be successful, they have to do their own thing. And that's not the truth, you guys. That's not the truth. This life is not meant for everybody. Believe me, it's not. The sacrifices that you've had to make, the sacrifices you've had to make, and the sacrifices that I know I've made, a lot of people aren't willing to make those sacrifices. You're not. I mean, that's just the truth of it. And if you knew what those sacrifices look like, you might think twice about it. And it might be better for you to go slow, for you to learn, bring more value, and then make more money. And wallahi, it takes a little bit longer, but it's a whole lot smoother.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's the peace of mind that 90% of the world wants. And everybody hears these titles, CEO, president, CEO. They think it's so great, but it's hard.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's very hard, and it's really not meant for everybody. So those are my final thoughts.
Okay. What are your relationship with NEXTGEN as a company?
You tell us
I'm
what
sorry,
our relationship
what?
is with this.
With who?
With NEXTGEN.
Who?
NEXTGEN Technologies.
Who is NEXTGEN Technologies?
Okay. Okay. I share my experience with EDM Network. That's the story I'm definitely gonna share when I'm be there at Summit, Telemarketing Summit. I'll definitely share that there as well. That I think 3 years ago, when NEXTGEN was small, really small. We were in a a room, I would call it, not a call center, I can say. At that time, we were struggling. And I remember the day I called Rita early in the morning, like 1 a.m.
No, 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Exactly 3 a.m.
And Rita's a night owl, so
I forgot, and my phone was on. He called me at 3 a.m. I'm like, hello. It's like, Mr. Reed. I'm like, this is from Pakistan. I'm like, hello. He says, hi. I said, do you know what time it is? He says, yeah, how are you?
So wallahi, when I called Rita and the response that I got, Rita said, what is time? Is the time you're calling me? Is this the time? Right time? But still keep on going. I did not stop over there. I still kept on going. And then, I think the next day again did the same. I called Rita around 4 a.m.
I'm like,
I'm going to block you, man.
I need to find this guy. I'm like, did you call me again? Yeah. Do you know what time it is? Yeah. How are you doing today? Today, it's 4 a.m. Don't ever call me again. Click.
Okay, then it stopped for a moment. Like, after that, I think for a year, it just hold on. Like, the relationship was just kind of a hold on at the moment. And we started our thing that we started with student loans, debt at that time. And we kept on moving with student loan. I think when Rita approached me directly, I think we had around 15 agents at that time. And Rita messaged me, brother, I heard that you have some Medicare stuff that you're doing. I said, yes, we are doing. I was very reluctant, to be honest, that the past experience that I had with Brother Rita is like, hey, he's gonna shoot me. Okay, but the response, I was surprised. I was even telling Zishan, my partner, Zishan, see who's reaching me out and asking me all of these questions, and we were, we knew EDM is big. That's when the relationship started with EDM, and wallahi, the time that relationship started, we were not in a great situation. Like, it was not like easy for us at that time. But if you ask me, the thing that I've learned from Jamal and Rita, I never had that experience, before. I did not know what reporting was. Seriously, as you told earlier that, Pakistani centers do start the call centers, but they don't know the norms of the business. The business norms are not there. They don't know the ethics of the business, which is very, very, very important. You need to learn those alongside. And honestly speaking, I learned a lot from you guys. There were a lot of things which were kind of misfit or missing. I really learned from you guys, and there are those things which really helped us. And honestly speaking, what NEXTGEN is at the moment, it has a huge role that EDM played on it. EDM played the huge role that we are here, like how big we are now. It's you know, it's the brotherhood that we get from you guys. It's the respect that you guys give us, and you know, we also honored for you guys to being here, seriously, and respect you are giving to us, and everything that you have taught us. It means a lot. It means a lot, not only to me, to the people of Pakistan, to the industry of the Pakistan. You guys are really helping them out. You guys are really helping all of us. And thank you for doing all of this.
We appreciate you, Malik. You don't have to thank us. We thank you because you're just a great person. Your brothers are great brothers. They're our brothers. You know, you come from a great family. People usually ask me, you know, Rita, NEXTGEN is such a big company right now. Remember, they were no one. You know, they were nothing. Like now, it's a massive company. Like why can't we do the same? I said, what NEXTGEN did is that they followed everything we told them. They worked with us as partners. They knew that we cared. They knew that we have the love for one another, and they worked hard. When NEXTGEN made money, they invested in a second call center. When NEXTGEN made more money, they invested in a third call center. It's not that they made money, they bought the Mercedes and the BMW. Now guess what? They don't have money for VoIP. They reinvested in the company, and everything that they have learned, they have implemented. Alhamdulillah, right now they are one of the greatest call centers in Pakistan, and inshallah, very soon they will become the greatest call center in Pakistan.
Let me add something to that. Learning is one piece of the puzzle. But like I said, the implementation and execution is everything. And Malik, as much as it warms my heart to hear everything that you said, I have to tell you thank you from the bottom of our hearts for actually executing on what we touch. Mm-hmm. Like Rita said earlier, we have vendors, we have strategic partners, and we have real partners. This is a real partnership.
Yes.
And we do a lot of business together. We're going to do more business together.
For sure.
And, you know, this is kind of where, like, I need everybody to, you know, Rita has this great analogy, and he's probably the best person at analogies.
The godfather of analogies.
Because sometimes I overcomplicate things, but Rita, what's that word that we said yesterday? He idiot proofs them. Okay.
Yeah.
He idiot proofs them to make it comprehensible for anybody to understand. And you know, that's probably his greatest superpower, his ability to communicate and allow people to understand very complex concepts very simply. And you know, pretty much what the analogy says is, you know, people are chasing $100 bills. Everybody wants $100 bills. They see $100 here, they see $100 there, they see $100 there. And Rita and I had a different philosophy. We wanted 1,000,000 pennies. Okay? Give me 1,000,000 pennies, okay? I don't need $100. I need 1,000,000 pennies. Give me 1,000,000 pennies. And that was the game that we played. And, you know, $100 comes a lot faster, but 1,000,000 pennies will last you a lot longer. And this is what people don't understand. You know, fast money is not good money.
Yeah, that's very true.
And, you know, most of the time it just doesn't last long. It's not sustainable. It isn't something that you can actually build a legacy off of. And this is kind of where, you know, I'm sure you're going to ask a question about where the future of the market is and all
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely.
So I'll tell you guys right now, there's going to be a massive correction in this market. A lot of the call centers out here, especially the ones that we don't work with or support, they are going to go out of business. Primarily just due to the fact that they don't know what they don't know. And the industry in the U.S. is shifting substantially. Compliance is a big issue. And, you know, this is kind of where, you know, there's a ton of factors that go into running a successful call center. But at its core, it's really making sure that we understand what's happening at the compliance level. So when it comes down to this business, especially for the long-term stability of the business, we're going to have to really start to clean it up. There's a lot of, small and medium-sized call centers that aren't really operating efficiently or effectively in that matter, which is very much going to be unsustainable long-term. And I think we really need to kind of focus on mentoring those teams, teaching those teams, and, having those teams kind of have a mentor that has a successful operation. Preferably somebody we're working with who's successful. His name may or may not be Malik. And, have them, really get the help and assistance that they really need to be successful. Because if not, there's going to be a massive correction in the market that a lot of people won't be able to recover from. And then on the other side, recruiting, keeping teams is another big issue. So, you have somebody that worked very, very, very hard, like I mentioned before, made all of the sacrifices to really build a business. And then they get in a situation where they give people an opportunity to provide for their families. And instead of respecting that person and working with that person and trying to build a career, they see it as a short-term job. And it's a very significant difference between a career and a job. When you think about having a career, you think about providing value long-term for the organization that you're a part of. But when you're thinking about a job, you're looking to collect a check and you're looking for your next opportunity. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, you don't know what you don't know. So you're going to end up being in a situation where, we have agents now, even a part of our call centers, that come to work, they accept a job, they're excited about a job, and we're paying them good money from what we see as good money. And then somebody offers them $2 more and they go. They're gone. And, this is kind of where the biggest issue lies, because it's very much unsustainable. Because in the call center, your recruiting has to keep up with your attrition. And if it doesn't, you're either staying stagnant or you're dwindling down. And this is where a lot of businesses are having issues. And, I'd really challenge the listeners right now, Malik, to, really think about, what shoe you're in, regardless of whether you own your own call center or you work in one. Are you really providing the most value that you can? So as a business owner, are you helping those agents that are working in your call center become better? Are you teaching them how to bring more value? Are you pushing them to be better? My biggest thing is pressure makes diamonds. Pressure makes diamonds. That's what it is. I'm not the easiest guy to work with, but I'm a very passionate guy to work with. And I care about your well-being. I care about everybody's well-being that we work with. But it's not pretty all the time. And sometimes, as an agent, you're going to have uncomfortable conversations with your managers. And as managers, you're going to have very uncomfortable conversations with your agents. And in doing so, you got to understand what that is meant for. Are you trying to break somebody down, or are you trying to build them up? And sometimes, in the military, I learned this very, very, very quickly, that they break you down to build you up. Because when you don't know what you don't know, and you think you know everything, this is where you start to have the biggest issues. Because it just takes one mistake. It takes one. You make the wrong mistake once, you don't have a future. You don't have a job, you don't have a business, you don't have anything. And, this is where I really see the biggest issues in the industry.
Do you really think that this industry needs to evolve to the digital marketing sides?
That's the future, yeah. No, definitely. I would say the whole industry.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say the whole industry, but the future will definitely be different. You have AI, which is artificial intelligence, and that is doing doing a dent in the lead gen, because there are some companies using AI. You have digital marketing companies who are generating some good prospects on social media and so on. The companies whom I start now for the digital format, they're already 3 years late.
Yeah.
They're already 3 years late because they should have started 5 years ago. Like, as you know, EDM network, we do inbound calls and we do phone fills, and we've done that for years. It doesn't mean that it's not good to start. However, digital is not just like a call center where you go call your 5 or 6 friends, you borrow money from mom and dad, and you find a call center, you rent it for like, $200 and get chairs and laptop, and after you finish drinking your cup of tea, let's go out and dial. Open, there is a dialer, there is data, let's go, let's get it done. Digital marketing, it's different. I'll tell you why. Because when you're on a call center setting, at the beginning, you'll have to pay for data, VoIP, right, which is not a ton of money. And you make calls. And you have this data, you make calls. Now, you generate some calls, which is great. And then the next day you come back, you use the same data, you make calls again. So you're hoping that, you are on this canoe and try to fish, and I caught one today, or I might cut 1 or 2 today. With digital marketing, it's different. You have your credit card that is being charged every second before you even know if it's gonna work. And with digital marketing, it's not like you're gonna put a credit card and say, let me put $5 on it today. Let me put $10 on it. Because a lot of people, they try to do digital marketing and then instead like, I have to spend $10,000 a day. A day. Some large companies, they spend $100,000 a week.
A day.
So, or some of them a day, not Mr. Jamal English, okay? But, digital marketing is the future, but we are already living in the future. So if someone says, Brother Rita said we have to get into digital marketing and so on, by no means, good luck, but the risk is higher and bigger. Why? Because with digital marketing, every time you have Google, you have Facebook, anything on social media, it's charging your card per second, and that could give you a heart attack. Wallahi, I remember looking at the $60,000 bill, and I called this guy. I'm like, we use our American Express Business Platinum card, $60,000. I'm like, Jamal, $60,000 charge. And he says, relax. I said, how can I relax? It's 60 grand. This was the beginning. We didn't have, we weren't as blessed as we are right now. I'm like, he says, relax. Because I didn't understand it, but he did. And then slowly and surely, you start seeing your ROI and so on. So to answer your question, on quickest format, yes, digital marketing is the future, AI and so on, but is it easy for anyone to go ahead and do it? No.
Okay. What's your take on it?
I definitely agree with Reed on a lot of his points. Probably the biggest thing that I would add there is when it comes down to digital marketing versus telemarketing, people are always going to crave that human interaction. That is always going to be something as humans that we're going to value and appreciate. And right now it's just become burdensome just because of the saturation within the industry. And that's caused a big burden for consumers. So connectivity is dropping. People aren't wanting to talk to people. Frustration is there. Digital marketing, you got to talk to nobody. You put your card on file, you show them something that they may like, and alhamdulillah, you make money. But not understanding it well enough to really kind of do it properly is only going to cause you issues. And
Fast.
they're very fast issues, very fast problems. But a campaign can go upside down overnight.
Yeah.
And when you're sleeping, you're not watching it. You're gonna have some
losing
problems.
money.
Yeah, you have problems.
You would think you had a nightmare, but no, it's reality.
Yeah, it's real. It's real, and it goes back to trial and error is a part of life, and if it is something that anybody that's listening is aspiring to do, just take it slow, understand, and like everything, find a good mentor to kind of show you what the ropes look like. To show you where your blind spots are, what to avoid, do your research, pay attention, and alhamdulillah, everything is going to work out.
Inshallah.
Last question. Beside lead gen, what are the other projects that you are thinking to doing in Pakistan?
That's a very good question, actually.
We're still going to keep our strategy going as far as making strategic acquisitions over here and building more long-term partnerships. That's always going to be a good plan for us. With all the development going on here, we're going to definitely be contributing to that. Cap rate here are substantially better than what we can get in the U.S. We're big in the real estate market. We like real estate. So that's definitely something we're going to want to participate in here. But primarily just like when we look at different ventures, the one thing that all of them must have is synergy. It's very hard to do multiple things that don't connect or feed off of each other. Because then when you have to shift gears to do something else, it's too big of a transition that you have to completely forget about everything else that you're doing on the other side to focus on what you're gonna do over here. And it almost comes to a point where you're a jack of all trades, but you're a master of none. And when you have synergy amongst everything that you do, this is just where it's easier to coordinate details between each other because everything is interdependent on each other. So that's our 2 cents on kind of what the future is.
Yeah, so which is true, we have seen how fast Goldberg have grown, and we do invest in real estate, hardcore in the U.S. And Jamal and I, not only we wanted to do more real estate right here in Pakistan, but we also wanted to open a small school. When you were talking about digital marketing, we want to open a small school, not a large school, where we can teach some unprivileged kids, like those who went to school but they don't have money to go to big schools. Teach them basically digital marketing. Teach them the future of business, and just try to give back. Because Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, in life, He tests you with health. He tests you with wealth. He takes health away to see how you react. He takes money away to see how you react. He gives you health. He gives you wealth, just as a test. There is always policy in life. And then if you only think, okay, I'm going to invest in real estate, what is your goal? So you want to invest in real estate so you can make a lot of money, right? So that's for me. But what is it to the society? Yes, it's true. People gonna pay, and you're gonna pay for contractor to make money, for the cement guy to make money, electrician to make money. That's beside that. Who else can you reach out to that needs your help? So we would love to open a school here. Like I said, not a major school, but a school here where we can have these kids who left high school or whatever, and just teach them digital marketing. Teach them the right way to do things. Teach them some, marketing skills.
It's like the concept is to create a trade school.
Yeah.
A trade school, real stuff that can be applied. Because, the concepts you learn in university, they're all theoretical.
Yeah.
Everything is theoretical until you do it. And then when you do it, you see what you actually need. And then, you realize she wasted a whole lot of time. Like, I see a lot of young people that say they're so busy. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Busy doing nothing. Yeah, that's right.
Brother, when we went to school, they were teaching us chemistry. For what? Are we mixing things right now? They used to teach us geography. Google right now tells you everything. They used to teach us math. Right now we have, calculator. I don't have to spend 8 hours to learn what 8 times 2 is. If I can ask this machine, I can know it for 1 second. So, even though the best of us is using 20% of their brain, some of us more, a lot of us less. A lot of us less. So the key is to, manage, information distribution much better. You want to be a leader here. Let me teach you a lot about this, because everything else is available to you. You don't have to learn geography because you can go to Google Map. They take you where you have to go. You don't have to learn technology and learn science because, everything is there. Even in education, you don't have to buy a book like this and put it in your back and walk with it and break your back and go see a chiropractor, because you have to go to school. Right now, everything is on iPad, right? Everything is on your phone. So the smartest way to do is to be smart investor in information distribution. This person wants to be an engineer. Teach him great thing about engineers. Everything else is there. You don't have to teach him about chemistry and mathematics.
Philosophy.
Philosophy. Oh my God, philosophy. For what? It's like, history is great. We all need to learn about history in the old days. But now you don't have to spend 6 hours in history. Just brush your teeth as you have like your YouTube and watch the history of the world.
Yes, but on that point, Rita, and you're the greatest testament to this, is Rita's a historian, like a real historian. He thinks history is not important because he knows all the history. But if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where we start to have issues because problems repeat themselves over and over and over and over again. And that stuff is, the history that becomes unacknowledged and forgotten. And when we forget and don't acknowledge the history that came before us, we're definitely bound to repeat the same mistakes. And, whenever I'm having an issue or I'm talking through a problem and, Rita starts talking about some history topic or something that happened a long time ago, and he doesn't realize that he does this just because it's so natural to him. He sheds light on why things happened previously, what the solution was that they identified at that point, but more so, it all comes down to the lack of communication. Most of the biggest conflicts we have in our life are due to communication, in some way, shape, or form. And Rita's a master communicator, me not so much. And
he's good.
No.
He's
And
good.
Malik, you're also a great communicator, and it's also having that emotional intelligence of how to connect with people that matters as well. But a trade school is kind of what I think would bring a lot of value here, especially to the young people, as more and more of the jobs that are that require manual labor are going to become more and more obsolete. And if we don't acknowledge that, we are all going to become history.
True. Okay, the last question I was supposed to ask you guys.
After you said last
I
question.
know,
No,
you said last
yes,
question
I
before.
did ask that.
I love my
No.
because I'm
Yes.
on the phone and I spend an hour with him and I love this brother. He goes, all right, oh, that's it. One more thing, Rita. Okay, Malik, so we get it done. One more thing.
No, it's not about the last question. Oh,
You gotta
okay.
love Malik.
Yes. Actually, I want to add something to it.
Yes.
Like, my viewers, when they'll be seeing this show, obviously they know the chemistry that you have on the show. They can see it.
Yeah.
But I just want to add on to it. The spice that you have in your both's life. Few days ago, Rita, said something really, beautiful. Like it just struck here. I really like it. Brother Rita said that, the best thing that happened to me, what is that, Malik? That I met Jamal. Believe me, like it just tells the chemistry that you guys have. And that line was really, really amazing.
That's true.
And on that note, believe me, guys, it was really an honor for you guys to being part of the show. And I would love you guys to be back on the show again and again.
Sure.
And it's a pleasure for all of us that you guys are on the show. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're
Thank you.
welcome, Malik. Yeah.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
If there's a few things I have to tell, to our viewers in few short sentences, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created you, in Al Kitab al Mahfud, He wrote everything about your life and what you're gonna have. Your risk is written, your health is written, your wealth is written, all your life is written already. So you will never know what your risk is unless you go out and look for it. So don't say that, Allah wrote my risk anyway, so I'm gonna sit here, and this is it. That's not it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Al-amal ibadah, like, work is like worship. So keep your dream, real, because you see a lot of young kids right now, they open a call center and you see them on Facebook, they have picture of airplanes and Jaguars and Lamborghinis and watches and no, keep your dream real. Dream small, right? Dream small and work hard so you can achieve it. And then the other thing is that if you start working in a call center or so on, since we are talking about call centers, be very, very tight with your money, because that is not your money. That's your business money, and you cannot take that money out. So when you're in a business, just check how much all of the your expenses are, right? So that money, you have to have it every month for your expenses, and then all the money that you make, 50% of it you have to put aside because it's not yours. Those are your future expenses. Those are for the rainy days, and always work hard. But above all, before you buy that watch, before you buy the expensive car, give back to your mom and dad. Mom and dad, they have done everything they have done so that you can have a job today. So, don't leave your mom without shoes or your dad without clothes and them without a nice apartment, and go ahead and buy a nice car and so on. Always do the best, and Allah will always do the rest. We love you, we appreciate you, and on behalf of all and every employee at the EDM network, we say we have always been honored to have you as a partner. NEXTGEN.
And I'll add one last thing. And whatever your journey is, move quietly, move swiftly, and move fast. And those are the most important things that I could probably leave you with. Not everything is meant to be shown. Not everything is meant to be flaunted. Not everybody is meant to know everything. You guys just got to look into the life of Rita and I. We don't do this often. And when we do, we want it to be impactful. We want everybody to take something away from it. And if you do take something away from it, please like, subscribe, and let Malik know that he's the man.
Yeah, that's
I like that.
usually.
Like it below. Subscribe.
Usually what happens is that I close the show, but not today. Mr. Rita and Mr. Jamal is gonna close this show right now. Please, guys, go ahead.
Nah, alhamdulillah. Thank you guys for having us here. If you watch this video before Saturday, June 11th, please join us at our telemarketing summit. It's going to be a great event. This event is meant for both fronters, low-level management, mid-management, higher management, as well as owners and operators, to all come, learn, and grow together. Mm-hmm. And this is what this is about. We're not trying to breed competitors, we're trying to breed partners. And if you want to be a part of that partnership, please join us. And let's spread the mission.
Amen. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the strength and the way to do things that we do. We thank you for the health, for the wealth, May He bless us with ikhlas, with iman, with deen. May He bless all Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May He keep all your parents, your loved ones, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles safe. Share the love. You do your best and Allah will do the rest. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.